Hi, thanks for joining me. So it is time again for 7th Gen Collection Voodoo. Here, as I said, we're going to move on to the PlayStation 3. And well, today we're covering Koei Tecmo, Tecmo Koei Games, and Koei published games. This is not going to be necessarily a complete list, like I say, always do your own research, but everything that I've researched, I've tried to compile all the games that I have and all the ones that I don't have, just so you guys can see, what's out there that you might want to collect for on these 7th gen systems. So let's go ahead and get started with this one here. This is Atelier, but I'm going to call it Atelier for the duration. Atelier Aisha, The Alchemist of Dusk. Now, these games, they're obviously published by Gust. This is a very classic series of Gusts. This is here published by Koei Tecmo. Interesting thing about this series in particular is the first batch of these games on the PlayStation 3 were actually published and localized by Nipponichi America. So you'll want to look out for those just to make sure that you get the complete set of these if that's something that you're interested in getting. Because this has essentially become an annualized series, and these are RPGs that are basically like you sort of go out into the field and fight monsters in order to collect ingredients for alchemy recipes that you basically do like quests that are time-based. And then there's characters and kind of an interesting story. I haven't gotten to play these as much as I wanted to, but definitely a very interesting series. There are other games here published by Koei Tecmo, Atelier, Escha, and Logi, Alchemist of the Dusk Sky. Probably butchered those names. Atelier Rorona Plus, which is a remake of the first game for the PlayStation 3. You also have Atelier Shali, Alchemist of the Dusk Sea. So those are the games in the series published by Koei Tecmo you guys might want to keep an eye out for. Next up, we have Champion Jockey, G1 Jockey, and Gallop Racer. This also appears to be like a long-running series. As far as I know, it's always been I think a Koei series. So here, of course, published by Koei Tecmo, and or I guess maybe we call it Tecmo Koei America. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, so this seems to be somewhat sought after. I would say this might be a little uncommon, but I've run into copies of this. Like it's not hard to find, I wouldn't say, but it does seem to be relatively sought after. So I'd say if you find a copy of this, if it's something you're looking for, you want to add it to your collection, you definitely want to snag that. Horse racing game. I don't know much about these. I haven't played them, but it really has been a long-running series. There have been multiple entries on the PlayStation 2 and other systems. Now, this game in particular is also available on the Nintendo Wii. Next up, we have one of my favorite fighting series here, Dead or Alive 5. I was pretty slow, actually, on the draw to pick these up. Of course, they did do an Ultimate Edition of this, as Tecmo is apt to do. So I mean, this is relatively affordable. It's also relatively common. It was a pretty popular game. So I don't think you're going to have any real trouble finding this, but, again, the prices are good now. If you want to add this to your collection, I would say definitely get it sooner rather than later. And also, this game is available on multi-platform Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Next up, we have a console exclusive for the PlayStation 3. This is Deception 4 Blood Ties. Now, this also is a long-running series from Tecmo. It's a very interesting kind of like dark fantasy, and also just sort of like comically morbid game where you basically trap a series of enemies that enter a castle, and so you'll set up your traps ahead of time. You'll some 1, 2, 3, or some relatively small number of people will enter the castle, and you'll have sort of like a bit of like comic dialogue frequently, and then you'll get to lure these people into your traps and try to kill them as effectively or as entertainingly as possible. Next up, of course, the Dynasty Warriors series. Now, I do want to take just a moment to point out that these are in the wrong case. This is basically like a cheap DVD bag that you can get, and it's it's not the right size. It's not really a good solution for these. If you want bags that are made specifically for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 games, you can get those from my online store. I would recommend that you check the link out in the description. But yeah, so not a whole lot to say about Dynasty Warriors. It's also a long-running series. Here we have Dynasty Warriors 6. We have Dynasty Warriors 7. And Dynasty Warriors 8, I believe, also came out on the PlayStation 3. Now, this series is cross-platform. Dynasty Warriors 8 is on the PlayStation 3 and the 360. Dynasty Warriors 6 and 7 are also cross-platform. Dynasty Warriors 6, I believe, even appearing on the PlayStation 2, which is very interesting. Another series in the Dynasty Warriors series here is Strike Force, which I believe is sort of more of a kind of like a fantasy sci-fi take on the series, as opposed to your kind of traditional like kind of Chinese historical, like medieval times. So this is pretty interesting too. I haven't actually gotten a chance to play it. This is also cross-platform. And this has been a little bit sought after, I would say. The regular Dynasty Warriors series is relatively common, but Strike Force, I would say it's relatively common as well, but might be just slightly more sought after. I don't know if that's due to the quality of the game or its availability. So there are also some games in the Dynasty Warriors series that I haven't added to my collection yet. We have Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends. And to my knowledge, those are PlayStation 3 exclusives, but I may be wrong about that. Additionally, we have Dynasty Warriors 6 Empires, which is a PlayStation 3 and 360 cross-platform game. So next up here we have a PlayStation 3 exclusive, which I've always thought was really interesting, Trinity Souls of Zilol. Now, I believe that this is part of a series. I'm not very familiar with it. I'm not even entirely sure what platforms it came out on. But, this one in particular, Trinity here, kind of clues you in that you play as one of 3 characters that you can switch between, which is kind of a cool mechanic. And this is something that I don't see very much anymore. It used to be something that you'd come across every now and then. I would say it's a little uncommon now. You're not going to see this out there a lot. So if you're interested in getting this is definitely one that I would keep an eye out for. It also looks like a pretty fun just sort of maybe like an action RPG-ish game that isn't a Dynasty Warriors game, which that it being a Dynasty Warriors game is not necessarily a bad thing, but we see a lot of that sort of thing from Koei, so it is nice to see something a little out of the norm as far as that's concerned. But another one in the Warriors series here, this is Legends of Troy. Another take on that sort of Dynasty Warriors formula. Here we have one set in ancient wow, I'm going to show my ignorance here. Troy, are we talking Greece? Anyway, in Greece, I believe. And yeah, so this looks pretty cool. I haven't actually played this one either, but I would say out of like the Dynasty Warriors based games that I've shown off in this video anyway, this is probably the one that I'm the most interested in checking out. This is also one I would say is a little uncommon. I don't think you see this around quite as much. Again, a lot of these, now is going to be the best time to get them. So if you see some of this stuff, or it's available, like I said, always check my my online store. I'm going to be trying to keep these kinds of things in stock. You might want to go ahead and grab that kind of a game while it's available. Just an FYI also, this I believe is a PlayStation 3 exclusive. Could be wrong about that. If I am, please let me know. But yeah, I don't think that that's available for the PlayStation, the Xbox 360. Another PlayStation 3 exclusive, Arno Surge Ode to an Unborn Star. Now, this sort of Arno Surge and Artanelico series is one that I never really got into. It started on the PlayStation 2, and there have been a lot of entries into it. But you might want to keep an eye out for that one. I will be doing so as well. And in terms of some multi-platform games, we also have Bladestorm, the 100 Years War. This is available on the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 4, I believe. It may be available for the Xbox One. I haven't actually checked on that. Next up, we have a game that I used to own, Fist of the North Star: Ken's Rage. Now, I'm not like the biggest Fist of the North Star fan in the world, but I do rather like it. I have a soft spot for it. I had seen the movie way back in the day. I watched, I think up to like episode, I don't know, 50 or 60 of the anime on Netflix, and it's fun. I mean, the whole first season, it's goofy, but it's good. And so this is basically just a beat 'em up game based on the Fist of the North Star anime, and I just didn't like it all that much, so I got rid of it. Kind of kicking myself now. It's a little uncommon. It's a little bit sought after. So if you see Fist of the North Star: Ken's Rage for the PlayStation 3, definitely want to pick that one up. It's the sequel is available on the 360, but I believe that is a 360 exclusive. So I don't think you're going to find Fist of the North Star 2 on the PlayStation 3. The Ninja Gaiden games, Ninja Gaiden Sigma and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. I'm not a big Ninja Gaiden fan. I've always found them to be a little too difficult for me. The Sigma games, I would say, are the more sought after versions. They're also PlayStation 3 exclusives. So if you're interested in that series, I would definitely keep an eye out for those. You also have Ninja Gaiden 3, which is available on the PlayStation 3 and the 360. And Ninja Gaiden 3 had another version called Razor's Edge. I don't believe it had a Sigma version. So Razor's Edge ended up being multi-platform on PS3, 360, and the Wii U. Last up, just a couple games here. Quantum Theory. This is actually a game that I have on the 360, so once we get around to Koei Tecmo games on that system, I'll be able to at least show that one off to you guys. But it seems to be a little bit of like Koei Tecmo kind of trying to do a little bit more of a Western style sci-fi shooter, like maybe a little cover based, maybe a little bit Gears of War-ish, from what I've heard. I haven't played it. It kind of got panned by reviewers, but it seems like a pretty interesting collection piece, especially since I don't see it around very often. I mean, just for example, I would have Quantum Theory on the PlayStation 3 if I'd ever seen it, since I've been looking for it, and I haven't. So that might tell you something there. Something that unfortunately is, I would say, more common and not a very good game, Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z. Again, this is one that I either have or had on the the Xbox 360. It is cross-platform, and I just didn't like it. I started playing it. I didn't like it very much. But if you want to finish off your Ninja Gaiden collection, and you want to get all, like, let's say the Koei Tecmo games published for the PlayStation 3 or the 360, it's not going to be very expensive for you to add that to your collection. So you may want to keep an eye out for that. So so those are the Koei Tecmo games that I have here for 7th Gen Collection Voodoo. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you'll join me again for more anime and video game related videos. More Collection Voodoo videos here coming up too, so I hope you'll join me for those. Thanks for watching.